Four Towns Cemetery is a small graveyard located near my home in Michigan. You can find mentions of it online if you look hard enough, but mostly it's just a tiny little church graveyard I happen to live near. I used to pass it every day on my way to college, and I still go by it about once a week. Every time I went past it, I used to wonder what it was like, being a frequent ghost hunter, gravestone rubber, and generally things of that nature. Now, I'm a little older, a lot wiser, and I'm not inclined to go back. About 2 years ago, a group of my friends and I went ghost hunting. My fiancé wasn't with us. He was not interested in the outdoors or the supernatural. Still isn't. But I was in good spirits anyway. It was a warm night, clear skies, and I was raring to catch a ghost on my friend's camera or tape recorder or even a cell phone video. The cemetery's less than an acre, so it wasn't going to take long to scope out. We broke into groups of 2 and 3 and checked over the grounds quickly. Somebody pointed out a few graves behind the fence in a swamp. He said it was probably where the unwed mothers and babies had been buried. And that made me shiver. I mean, this cemetery wasn't all that old. Things like that happened in colonial times, not recently. Not in my mind, anyway. I wandered with a few people, changing from group to group. I felt restless. Usually when we were ghost hunting, we were all cracking wise, but nobody was saying much on this trip. A group near a tall monument, at least 7 feet high and shrouded all in vines and branches and things, called us over. There seemed to be a cold spot about the size and shape of a very tall man. I waved my hands through the air around it, and it did feel a bit cooler, but that might have been my imagination. Everyone began taking pictures and claimed they could see a figure in the digital photos. I just hung back, not really seeing anything. I felt disquieted. I didn't want to be here. That was when a cold shock squeezed my right hand, right between the web of flesh between my right thumb and forefinger. I cried out and yanked my hand away. It hurt. The cold was just coming off my hand, and I booked it toward the gate. I was saying, I'm out. Something grabbed me. I am out. And I was quickly followed by the rest of the party. Not so much because anyone believed me or was worried about my encounter, but because nobody wanted to be there anymore. A few of my pagan friends burned some sage. Being a Baptist, I reasoned God wouldn't mind me being near a burning plant. We were all pretty quiet as we left and sought the more hospitable climes of the local diner. I'd write that off, but the next morning is when the bruise showed up. It was pretty deep in the meat of my hand. It wasn't a bad bruise. It wasn't black or blue, but you could definitely see it. It was yellow, and it hurt. Right in the spot where I'd been grabbed by that cold hand. I know there are probably mundane explanations, but they do not hold a candle to the cold reality. It was very cold.